is Jimmy Galligan, the local man here from Lacken. Crowe Park, of course, the venue for this Division 1 final. And an early attack set up here from Cavan Gaels, but the centre half back here in possession for Gowna. That's Colin Briody to clear right across the square, literally, and Ronan Bannon then adds a bit of punch to it with a long ball down to the far side of the field. Kieran Brady, centre half forward, back in a defensive role. Nothing unusual about that for him, as Gowna will launch their first attack. The corner forward inside, Kieran Fitzpatrick dropping it in. Full back here is Darren Rabbit for Cavan Gaels. Shortish tap out towards the far side, and so often I've said this before, though they may very well win the battle here in this case, but sometimes that dilly-dally and back into defence, well, it more often than not can create a certain amount of pressure on defenders, and there you had just another example. However, the referee will award a free outfield to Cavan Gaels for a foul on the full back out towards the far side. As Porrick Smith had a wonderful year, really, in his defensive role for the Cavan side and champions. Down at the other end, Gowna to gather it up inside. That's the corner back, Bernard Sorohan, trying to work it up towards the middle of the field, or that general direction. In fact, he follows it up himself, and an unnecessary pull there on the defender, and the referee will award the free outfield to Gowna. That's about 75 yards out from their own end line, just a few yards in from the far sideline. And I suppose no more than most of the Gowna people, the referee wouldn't be very happy with the nature of that foul, in the sense that he's going to have a word with Cavan's right half forward, Gavin Duffy. Not only that, it's the first yellow card of the game, and the game is very, very, very young indeed. Just over over 2 minutes rather played into the first half. So that free inside the 70-yard line to Gowna. Nice fielding up front here by Shane Briody. Gowna trying to redeem themselves. That could it be the opening score? In fact, from Shane Briody, he sent the ball over the bar, so that's the opening score. Hello? Hello? Hello, Tony? Oh yes, Keith. Keith, this game has just started, so whatever you know, it's only on a couple of minutes. No problem. All right. There you are. You'll notice a bit of a mixture, of course, in your exposure on this Division 1 final coming from different angles. However, Gowna leading by that point, but Cavan Gaels might be about to respond to that. In fact, the referee has penalised defenders, and a quick free from 25 yards out has gone out over the end line, and it has dropped wide. So it's 1 point to Gowna. Shane Briody, the scorer of that opening one, from play, long distance out the field, and at a time where the game was about 2.5 minutes old. Meanwhile, it will be just an ordinary kick out down here to the right for the Gowna goalkeeper. Gowna defending the goalmouth on the right for the benefit of those that might not be familiar with the colours. Cavan Gaels, of course, in the blue. I'm sure that's an indication as to what colour Gowna are playing in. Anyway, the ball kicked out towards this side of the field. That's Joseph McLaughlin, relatively newcomer in the last 12 months or so on the Gowna side, will of course be trying to get back into the winning streak form in the wake of their dismissal from the championship earlier on. Cavan Gaels setting up yet another attack down here to the right, but this time the referee has spotted a pull, so the free will be some 30 yards out. Almost a carbon copy of the one a few moments ago, apart from the fact that it's over towards this side as opposed to the other side from the last time out. And the full forward for the Gaels is Cormac Nelligan to take the kick. The angle would be about 10 yards to the right of the goalmouth on the right, but for whatever reason Cormac decided to send it way out towards the far side. Perhaps he was trying to prise open the defence. I would have thought it was a scoreable one, but however, he had other ideas, and of course there is a howling breeze that would have been blowing directly into his face. The ball cleared out towards this side of the field. 1 point to nothing, and it is Gowna that are leading in these early moments. Midfielder Fergal Horton, one of the great exponents indeed of the game down in that part of the world, and here's a man that has often struck goal before when it comes to scores. That's Kieran Fitzpatrick dropping that one over the bar for Gowna, bringing their tally up now to 2 points, and that I say with about 5 minutes played in the first half. It's cold and bitterly cold, but who cares? It is, of course, after all, the closing days of November in this year 2007. In fact, 24 to be precise. The ball placed on the 20-metre line for the kick out down here to the left. 2 points to nothing, with Cavan Gaels having to open that account. No doubt that they will, but Gowna are certainly playing the better football so far. In fact, as I speak, they were about to attack, and they're literally throwing the ball around the centre field area. A long one way out towards this side that's going very, very close to the sideline. Ground conditions are quite good, and we say that in the wake of some of the inclement weather that we've been having over the last few days or so. Gowna still leading by those 2 points, and Cavan Gaels still to score. Referee Jimmy Galligan, as I said, from Lacken, keeping a very close eye on proceedings. And that stiffish breeze, if it's any advantage, it would be to Gowna in this first half. They have possession in the middle of the field. This looks like their captain, Mark McKeever, 35 to 40 yards out from the goal mouth, trying to open up the defence. Taps a nice one back out to Kieran Brady Jr., that is. But Kieran's effort swings out to the right of the post, and it has gone wide, so the score remains 2 points to Gowna, and Cavan Gaels have still to score. Almost 6 minutes played in the first half. Unless we picked it up wrong during the week, I get the feeling that this one had a late start. But however, what's 10 or 12 minutes in this time of the year? Ball placed on the little square once again for the kick out. Cavan Gaels, Owen Elliott, that's their goalkeeper, Joe Dunn, Darren Rabbit and Shane McLeod, completing the full back line. This is one that drops a bit short, but the referee spotted a foul, so it's a free to Gowna, and that's about 55 yards out from the Cavan Gaels goal mouth. And Kieran Brady Jr. is the player that's going to take it. Still 2 points to no score. It's almost in front of the goal mouth, a little to the right of centre, and it's also a little to the right, is it, of the upright. So the score still remains 2 points to Gowna and Cavan Gaels, with nothing on the board so far. Mention the full back line, the half back line in the Cavan Gaels side. This is as per programme, even though I noticed there's one change out there, but Carol Crotty, Eamon Riley the captain, and Porrick Smith completing the half back line, with Cathal Collins and Nicholas Walsh at centre field. In the half forwards, Gavin Duffy, Anthony Ford and Tommy McCormick, and Sean Higgins at top of the right, Cormac Nelligan and Levy Murphy in the left corner forward position. That's interesting. Meanwhile, ball out over the sideline down here to the left. Cavan Gaels in the early stages of this game, though they have moved forward a few times, they're having problems with the target. We might sort that out now in a moment. Cathal Collins linking up nicely with Micheál Ling, wearing number 25 this afternoon. That was Joe Dunn. Inside in the corner is Sean Higgins. High out to the left, out over the end line, and wide. So then, it's still 2 points to nothing, with Gowna leading in this Division 1 final. Indeed, the record is quite healthy when it comes to league competition, as it has been in the Championship. That's, of course, not including the year 2007, though they did go a long distance, but not the full journey. All placed on the little square down here for the kick out. Ronan Bannon, the man in the gap as he was once known many, many moons ago. The full back line, Joseph McLaughlin, Colin Briotti and Bernard Sora. In the half line, Brendan Madden, Gavin Horton and Emmett Madden. At centre field, Fergal Horton and Captain Mark McKeever. The half forwards, Kieran Brady, and also Kieran Brady, one of those is junior and one of those are senior, and I don't think they're related. The left half forward is Shane Briotti. One of the Gowna players is the full back, I think it was there, that was down, Colin Briotti, but he's up now, as you can see there, and he's all right. The full forward line, Porrick Brady, Niall Madden and Kieran Fitzpatrick, who has already left his mark on the board. 2 points to no score. Ball down towards the centre. Hopping and dropping, Cathal Collins, Micheál Ling, Cathal Collins again, inside the 50-yard line, but very much nearer the corner flag than the upright, so it's still 2 points to no score, and really and truly nutshell, Cavan Gaels are having terrible problems with the target. But no doubt that when they do, and they will, get that right, it will certainly be a different ball game. Ronan Bannon once more to take the kick out for Gowna. Hello? Yes, Keith. That's fine, Keith. Yes, indeed. Yes. All right. So there you are, as promised at the start, of course, that we would have different kinds of exposure. We'll stay with the play here on the video recording of this. This is Cavan Gaels full forward, trying to get inside for the goal, but in fact the ball has gone out over the end line, and need I tell you, now then, the ball placed on the corner of the square once again for the kick out for Gowna. Ronan Bannon once again take it, and I hope, Keith, if you're listening inside, you'll not get carried away. This is for the record, we're putting down a recording of this Division 1 League final between these notorious rivals. The centre half back and the free outfield to Gowna to be taken in fact by Brendan Madden, who's not the centre half back but rather the right half back. Here's Kieran Fitzpatrick, and again he has put the ball over the bar. That's the third point of the game so far, and all three scores coming to Gowna, with Cavan Gaels still trying to get that elusive score but having problems. In fact, having even tried for a goal but were unsuccessful. Meanwhile, the ball to be kicked out down here by the Cavan Gaels goalkeeper. Inside, Owen Elliott, long down past the 70-yard line. Cathal Collins unmarked, untouched. The referee had spotted something indeed before Cathal brought that ball down, so he's now apparently talking to the Gowna full back. So then, the referee stalling the play, having a serious chat there with the full back, and the free now will be to Cavan Gaels. That's Anthony Ford with the ball, and he's looking around for a loose player. Not too many, or has he found one? Looks like Enda King, which would be part of that difference that we talked about from the original line-out on the programme. But I suppose it's that time of the year that you'll find to come across things and situations like that. Three points to no score. Gowna leading. Here's the free right across into the centre. That's Collins again. Nobody literally within an ass's roar initially, but that's Anthony Ford. That could be the opening score for the Gaels. Well, it took about 16 minutes to get it, but they've got it. It's now 3 points to 1, and Gowna are leading in this first half. It's also that time of the year and that kind of day and that sort of weather where rain can never be too far away. That's right, Tony. Yes, I suppose in our calculations the game would have been a little bit late starting here, maybe 10 or 12 minutes or so, but some late stragglers, if they pardon the punt, arriving in. Anyway, at the moment it's about 16 minutes into the first half, and Gowna are leading by 3 points to 1. It's not fast and furious or anything like that. Down to the right there's a free in to Cavan Gaels about 25 yards out. It's their full forward that's going to take it and send it high, but it's brought down inside by the Gowna full back. Anyway, Shane Briotti from play opened the scoring after 2.5 minutes, and then Kieran Fitzpatrick added to that a minute after, making it 2 points to no score. And then you had Kieran Fitzpatrick in the 9th minute of the first half here, making it 3 points to Gowna, and Cavan Gaels had still to score, and it looked as though they were never going to score. And I say that in the wake of numerous occasions when the town side went forward, but they seemed to be having tremendous problems with the target. However, they did get that right just when you were coming over to us. Anthony Ford sent the opening point for Cavan Gaels over the bar to make it 3 points to 1 at that stage, and that's the way it is at the moment. And very briefly, Tony, if I could, in the wake of the Division 3 League final that was played last night, that was between Killashandra and indeed Cavan Gaels as well. That one finished 2 goals and 8 points to 6 points, and this is the game that they talked about that went on forever and a day when they drew down in Bonboy back about 4 weeks ago or whatever. And of course, Killashandra's involvement in the Ulster Junior Club defer that obviously to last night, but there was quite a good crowd ahead, and it was a mighty game. It was very exciting, particularly the first half. It fizzled out a little bit in the second half, but really and truly Killashandra were freewheeling, I would have thought, a good deal in the second half. And really what broke the straw that broke the camel's back was the first half goal that was finished by Thomas O'Reilly after Declan McKernan had set him up. It was 1-3 to 0-3 at half time in favour of the Leaguers, and then they went on in the second half to score yet another goal. This time Jim Sorohan set up Daniel Luby, and Daniel doubled on it hurling style into the net, making it 2-5 to 0-5, and they really went on to a stroll in the park after that. They scored a further 3 points, indeed as did their opponents Cavan Gaels, but it was a very good game when you consider the time of year and the time of day and all that sort of thing, though the place was lit up. But it finished 2 goals and 8 points to 6 points, and indeed after the game the captain Killian Riley was presented with the cup by the chairman of the county board, Philip Smith. And this competition, of course, is the Lakeside Manor Division 3 competition. This was the final of that. Killashandra won it. They had to wait that number of weeks and see if they could pick up where they left off. They did that. They did it in style, and they had some fine individual performances, not least man of the match. And I thought Jim Brady, of course, from the Lakeside Manor, who selected the man of the match, I felt his choice was in fact very good indeed it was, and Thomas O'Reilly got it. In fact, Jim was telling me after that some years ago that he played along with Thomas's father, and that's not how he picked him, because Thomas had a great game. He scored a mighty goal, as I said, that set up Killashandra, but he was part of the St. Joseph's amalgamation side, Kernafane, Arva and Killashandra, that lost to Crosserlaw in a senior final somewhere back in the 70s, when of course Crosserlaw were going for 7 in a row. That's all history now. Great game, great performance, well done to Killashandra. They finished with 2 goals and 8 points, and Cavan Gaels had 6 points. Now, while we were talking there, Gowna has scored another point here, so the score here now is 4 points to Gowna, and Cavan Gaels have 1 point, and it's back to you, Tony. So the referee out in the centre awarding a free to Gowna. This one is about 75 yards out from the goal mouth down here to the right, and it will be the midfielder to take the kick. The midfielder, of course, wearing number 9, is also the captain. That's Mark McKeever, but the ball out over the end line, so it will be just an ordinary kick out. 4 points to 1. 4 points to 1, and Gowna that are leading. As I said, they somehow seem to be holding the balance of power in many areas in this league final so far. And it's a league final that's just over 21 minutes old. Here's Cathal Collins, tower of strength, big man likewise. Not too far away from him there was Nicholas Walsh into the right hand corner, but feeding a defender rather than a forward. And that's what they call feeding the monster that would eat you. So the half-back for Gowna, in fact, is Emmett Madden, that grabbed the ball inside. He in turn fouled, and he's been awarded a free out. But he decides to kick it in, literally back to the goalkeeper. So Ronan Bannon now with a little bit of an exhibition, but the referee is telling him to go back now. I'm not so sure why or what brought about that. Ronan was on the move out the field with the ball. The referee held him up and told him to go back to it. Well, I think it was that Ronan might not have been aware that the free hadn't in fact been taken. Well, I thought it was, and I think everybody else thought it was, but Jimmy had other ideas. Anyway, here is a situation where Cavan Gaels are being awarded a free. Now, I get the feeling, and I hope I'm wrong, but I get the feeling that the temperature under the surface is beginning to heat up a little bit on a cold November day. Sean Higgins, right corner forward for Cavan Gaels, trying to set them up inside. but there to prevent him is Mark McKeever. Mark fouled as he comes out with that one, so this will be a free outfield about 35 yards out from the goal mouth and down here to the right. It's 4 points to Gowna and 1 point to Cavan Gaels, and I think you can almost gather, I'm not so sure if you can pick it up from here, but certainly for those that are here, that the audience over in the stand on the far side are beginning to get a bit of a kick out of this Division 1 League final, more so in the last 7 or 8 minutes or so. Right corner back is Joe Dunn. Centre half back is Eamon Riley, the captain. Eamon transfers out to Micheál Ling. He gets it across into the centre to Anthony Ford. I know that when people look at this and watch this, it might have never seen it before. When they look at it for the first time, they may very well ask a very obvious question. Where is Dermot McCabe? Dermot's never too far away, and don't be surprised before the end of the game that you could see him out on the field. But anyway, the free about 35 yards out. It's some 10 yards to the right of the goal mouth. On the right, as we look down, centre forward is Anthony Ford, normally very reliable and just about made it. It went over the hard way, touching the fingers of defenders and goalkeepers and crossbars and everything else. But anyway, Anthony Ford got the free and the ball over the bar. So we have now 24, almost 25 minutes played in the first half. It's now 4 points to 2, meaning that the gap has narrowed somewhat, but it's Gowna. It's Gowna so far holding that balance of power by 2 points. Ronan Bannon with the kick out once more, down towards the centre. Brought down here by Gowna, who are certainly that bit hungrier for the ball. And perhaps you could understand that insofar as that Cavan Gaels, well, having won the senior final and been involved, such as they were in that Ulster club competition, of course, that bit busier in recent times. No doubt that Mick McCormick, equally busy, trying to keep his lads in shape and to be involved in this very highly prestigious competition coming up in the dark days of Christmas. And I say that with still about a little bit over 4 weeks to go. Tempers becoming a little bit flared out around the centre field area. The referee again taking action. And to his credit, you will notice that Jimmy Galligan is dealing with any would-be dangerous tackles or moves at the very early stages. In other words, trying to quell them before they might boil over. Now the free will be to Cavan Gaels out towards the far side of the field, some 45 metres out from the goal mouth, and about 10 or 12 in from the far sideline, and Micheál Ling is going to take the kick. 4 points to 2, double scores, 2 points between them. Over 26 minutes played in the first half. Always great rivalry when these sides meet. This afternoon is no different, though the pace of the game, well, it's a little bit slow. Meanwhile, Cavan Gaels, Micheál Ling, 14-yard line, tight angle, nice point. Goalkeeper is claiming inside that he held on or took too many steps with the ball. He doesn't mind, the referee was happy. And so then, it's a point that narrows the gap down to the bare minimum. It's 4 to Gowna and Cavan Gaels on 3 in this first half. That's now about 27 minutes old in the first half. Meanwhile, Ronan Bannon once more to take the kick out. Defending the goal mouth on the right. His side were having it a little bit softer in the first 20 minutes or so of this game, but as things often do and have been known to, they change. This has been no different. Porrick Smith on the far side trying to go forward, but the referee is calling back the play and he's going to award a free. Not only that, but for dissent he's bringing the ball. I'm not so sure what happened there with our press area becoming a little bit steamed up here in front, but the referee, I know that he definitely brought the ball 13 metres forward for dissent. In other words, I get the feeling somebody might have been talking when they should have been listening. However, it's Cavan Gaels coming out of defence down here to my left, I do believe. It's Nicholas Walsh. Grounded just inside the Gowna half of the field. Here literally in front of us. 4 points to 3, 1 point between them. Gowna leading. Nicholas Walsh fouled and he perhaps will take the free himself. And he's He's having a look across to see if he might spot somebody on the loose that he could deliver to, and perhaps try and organise or orchestrate something up front that might bring about these sides on level terms, or perhaps convert it into something more special. That's about 72 yards out from the goal mouth and just the 2 yards in from the near sideline. And all the planning that went into that particular kick, it wound up in the hands of wing half back Brendan Madden. There's a Cavan Gaels player down on the 45-metre line, and nobody seems to be interested. Meanwhile, on the far side, Mark McKeever trying to get his way through, brought down. Referee will award a free now outside the 70-yard line to Gowna, that is. The Cavan Gaels player that's down, to the best of my knowledge, would be Enda King. Now, I did say that there are sporadic little incidents creeping into the game over the last 10 minutes, and there's just another example there as a couple of players are inclined to jaw at one another. However, the referee has it sorted out yet again, and the free on the far side, 70 yards out or thereabouts. Now, let's see, or is the the referee in fact at the moment is talking to one of the linesmen on the far side of the field, looking for a bit of added information in the wake of this incident. It's 1 point between these sides with 28, almost 29 minutes of the first half, and it's Gowna that are leading by that bare point. So then, it's a Gowna player that has the ball. Here you have a situation again where you have two players still griping at one another, and I'm trying to figure out where the referee is, because it's becoming a bit dark at the moment. Well, the referee did speak to the linesman on the far side, and I presume that it was in the wake of the incident where Enda King appears to have got a thump back about a moment or more than a minute ago. You may recall when I mentioned that, but Enda's up now. He's a bit shaken, but I'm sure he'll be fit to resume his place. Now the referee, having received information, they call it sometimes second-hand, but it's very much first-hand information when it comes to the linesman who was on the ball, to his credit, to feed this particular information onto. And now the referee is having a very stern chat with the Gowna centre half back. This is Gavin Horton that he's talking to now, and that's a yellow card for Gavin. I get the feeling that from the reaction of some of the Cavan Gaels supporters on the far side of the field, that they might have been looking for a different colour there. But in fairness to Gavin Horton, again, one of the great leaders in the game, and certainly, well, he won't mind me saying so, he's no youngster. He's been at it a good while now, and a lot of experience, and his contribution to this club down here in Cavan has been really immeasurable for quite a number of years. Gowna attacking. Kieran Fitzpatrick from 35 yards out. Has he found the target yet again? The answer to that is a very definite yes. Kieran very much in the scoring picture this afternoon for Gowna, and now bringing their tally up to 5 points. It's now 5 points to 3, Gowna leading in this first half that will be coming to a conclusion in the not too distant future. Meanwhile, Owen Elliott placing on the 20-metre line for the kick out. Cavan Gaels defending, the goalmouth on the left. As you watch this, and mind you, you wouldn't have to be an expert to gauge that. Here he comes now with the kick. As I said, it's becoming quite dark. Certainly rain never ever too far away. Down on the centre field, Enda King fouled, gets up and takes the free himself, sends it forward. Down here to the right, that's Sean Higgins, the right corner forward, booted out there in safety, at least for the moment, there by the Gowna midfielder Fergal Horton. And Gowna trying to literally walk the ball out of defence. Eventually they get it up to Mark McKeever. Mark McKeever's 35 yards out, upended, and the referee will award a free outfield. The referee is going to stand for none of this kind of nonsense, and that's a yellow card for that, and in fact a red one there for good or bad measure, and that in fact has gone to Gavin Duffy. So Gavin gone for a second yellow card. Now, so there you are. It's Cavan Gaels down to 14, and that's just before the half-time break, which mustn't be too far away. 2 points between them, 5 points to 3, and now there seems to be something else around the Cavan Gaels 70-yard line. Again, the referee has that sorted out. There's bulk of the 29 players that are on the field are almost, well, congregated around that area. Now, Eamon Riley, the Cavan Gaels captain, is pointing something out to the referee, but he doesn't seem to be all that interested at the moment. Meanwhile, the Gowna player, Kieran Fitzpatrick, I think was receiving attention there for a moment, out towards the far side of the field. Now he's alright. And it's 5 points to 3 with Gowna leading. It would certainly be something to finish off their year. They would feel that it was disappointing, the fact that they didn't win out of the Cavan Senior Championship, but perhaps the next best thing, of course, would be this competition here. Meanwhile, ball out over the sideline on the far side of the field. Line ball somewhere to Cavan Gaels, about 13-20 metres out from their own end line on the far side of the field. I did talk about that notorious rivalry that's oftentimes generated when these sides meet. It can, to an extent, be friendly rivalry, but it doesn't always work out that way, though let's hope that this time it will. Meanwhile, the line ball has yet to be taken, I believe, about 20 yards out from the end line over towards the far side, or in fact has the referee. Now, it's a little bit disconcerting at the moment. Players are walking away. Is it half time? Some people around the referee at the moment asking questions, not so sure what it's all about, but I think the moral of this story is we'll blame the weather. We'll blame the weather. The moral of this story is, in fact, that the referee has called indeed for half time. Yes, there may have been a few people that went in the direction of the referee and asking some inevitable questions. But anyway, the gist of the story is that it is Gowna that are leading and leading on merit at half time by 5 points to 3. But as they say, and they often say, she ain't over yet. Half time, still a lot more to come, 2 points between them, and that is the credit to Gowna there. Leading by 5 to 3, half time. See it. Yeah. Well, you can see it, you know. Second half, raring to go. Referee Jimmy Galligan gets the wheels in motion for part 2. Half-time, 5 points to 3. Gowna leading, having the advantage of those 2 scores in the first half. There's an early free for Mark McKeever. Right down along the far side of the field. And that rain that we talked about, making conditions out there, obviously, that bit more difficult. Likewise, it's one of those days we could do it a wiper. Anyway, it's still 2 points between them, and yet another free, the second free within the space of a minute to Gowna this time. It's a fairly tight angle, about 22 or 3 yards out from the goal mouth, and just as many to the left of the goal mouth on our right as we look down. So here we go with a high curling ball, but it's way out to the right, very much so, going, and not gone over the end line, very, very close to it, virtually, if not literally, but the ball, in fact, is now out over, so it will be just an ordinary kick out down here. Still 2 points between them, 5 points to 3, and it's Gowna that are leading, as was the case in the first half, of course. Some things never change, as I say. Well, that's the way it's been with the score so far, but the second half, well, just scarcely a minute and a half old. Kick out, arriving just a little short of the middle of the field, hopping and dropping around, Enda King, the eventual winner. This is Porrick Smith moving forward now, trying to feed his attack with a very high ball on a very wet day, right into the goal area. inside by the Gowna defence. Meanwhile, long delivery out towards the far side of the field. You may notice now, as I said earlier about the crowd of the audience, and a nice turnout here for this league final, that they're enjoying every moment of it. They're quite loud. And that's good to hear. There's a fisted effort now for Gowna, right across the goalmouth from Shane Briotti, who incidentally got the opening score of this league final back about 40 minutes ago, but a little more indeed, 45 minutes ago. But that one out to the left and wide, so maybe that's the goal area that the forwards are having the greater problems with. By that I mean Cavan Gaels had certainly lots of problems with that target or that area in the first half. High down to the centre, Kieran Brady first, dropping it, trying to poke it out. It looks like Sean Higgins. And Sean's effort, oh, nice ball right across to the far side, on the chest of Chesney, and from 35 yards out he's put it wide, so the score remains 5 points to 3. So the goalkeeper is Ronan Bannon to kick out for Gowna, defending the goalmouth here on the left in the second half, as was the case of course with Cavan Gaels in the first. All eyes focused out around the centre field area. A lot of bunching. Kieran Brady Senior this is for Gowna, trying to forge his way through as well to get the ball out to the far side. Shane Briotti in the foul. The centre half back is Gavin Horton with the delivery. That's Mark McKeever that was down at the other end and inside for the Gaels. Shane McLeod. Nice touch up towards the centre field. This is Nicholas Walsh taking it from Cahill Collins. That's a situation where Eamon Riley will transfer down towards the centre half forward here. Anthony Ford. Anthony with a high curl. Ah, that's a beauty. Probably the best score of the afternoon so far. Anthony Ford bringing it down to the narrowest of margins once again, where it's now 5 points to 4. Gowna still with that 1 point to their credit. Just over 5 minutes of the second half, 1 point between them, 5 points to 4. Gowna still holding on by that slender lead. Ronan Bannon. Sean Higgins obliging there, throwing the ball back to him. Nice little touch also, sportsmanship-like touch. Ball placed on the 20 for the kick out. High and long, slapped down in the centre field area. Referee spotted a touch on the shoulder of one of the Gowna players, who very quickly take benefit of the quick free and try to organise up something up front now inside. This is their centre forward, chasing forward. But really and truly, I suppose, when you sum the whole thing up, there's been far too many frees in it. And that's not the fault of the referee. It appears as though too much pulling and dragging. Cahill Collins, long ball, high and long and hopping, outside the 21-yard line, breaking out towards the sideline, down here to the left, very, very close to it in fact. Still a point in it, 5 to 4. So this ball will be coming outfield, obviously from and to Gowna, if you like. Kieran Brady jabs it across. That's Mark McKeever. Long and left-footed, can use both feet. This is the full forward now, Niall Madden. Very promising youngster also. And from 30 yards out, he lets me down. The ball out to the right, out over the end line and wide, and the score remains 5 points to 4. But there is a lot of potential there. Ball to be kicked out down here by Owen Elliott, the goalkeeper. Beyond the 70-yard line, the breaking ball collected by Carol Crotty. High, right-footed, lobbing towards the full forward area. Backs and forwards going. Kieran Brady, the eventual winner, breaking it down, screaming for the pass from inside, but the man that gathers it up and whips it up, in fact, is Emmett Madden. It's Mark McKeever once more. This is Gowna's full-back Colin Briotti, just to show that he can play out around the centre field area as well. That's where he's been for some time now. Meanwhile, it's Cavan Gaels right half back here on the far side. Once more, Carol Crotty foul, referee warding the free. That's 45 metres out from their own end line. Scores are skimpy, but it's 5 points to 4, with Gowna still leading. Walsh, Smith, Riley or O'Reilly. On his left, Cathal Collins, but he decides to pass it forward, and it's been intercepted inside by Kieran, or rather Gavin Harton. So the referee awarding the free outfield for the foul, and it will be some 48 metres or thereabouts from their own end line down here to the left. Well, the rain was a bit like the summer that we had. It came and it went. It's 5 points to 4. 1 point between them, with Gowna still leading. In fact, if anything, it's become a little bit brighter again. That's not to say, of course, that in the event of a draw that this would go to extra time, and by the time that or the likes of it would be wrapped up, well, certainly it would be time for those lights over on the far side to start flashing. It was 5-3 at half time, so there's just been one score in this second half so far, and that came from the centre forward Anthony Ford, also from play, and probably, though all scores count, it was probably one of the real features of this game. Sort of collector's item, if you like. Gowna players still receiving attention, just over 10 minutes played, and the game has really dropped back a pace, if you like, because before the half-time break, or in the closing 10 or 12 minutes of the first half, there was certainly an awful lot more life to it than that of the first 10 or 12 minutes. But it's back now into the slow motion zone again. But for the last moment or so, there was an obvious reason. But Mark McKeever is all right now, so he's looking for somebody from Gowna up front. And they must not be in the crowd. Looking for a forward, but it's a back, and it's a back that's doing very well in the name of Carol Crotty. And Carol foul once again, so Cathal Collins will take the free. That's Eamon Riley on the halfway line. Has a gawk inside to see if he can spot Sean Higgins. Does so. Higgins flicks it down to the running and advancing Eamon Riley and captain. But Eamon fumbles this one, and Gowna are about to punish. Harton, McKeever and company. 55 yards out from the goal mouth. Referee awards a free, and a very legitimate one it was. Meanwhile, ball coming forward now. Cavan Gaels are improving, and make no mistake about that. This is cornerman Shane McLeod. That's Nicholas Walsh once more. Pádraig Smith. Pádraig wouldn't be a great man on a chessboard if he played like that. However, what a year he's had. All spinning around in the air. Eventually, it's Cathal Collins chasing forward. Cavan Gaels know, and know quite well, they need another score to at least draw level. And while time is very much on their side, it was Gowna that, well, it has been Gowna that was playing much the better football. Though, as I said a moment ago, Cavan Gaels did improve, but they're still a point down. This is one now that's about, let's see, about 45 metres out rather from the goal mouth. 8 or 10 in from the far sideline. Now here comes Mickey. High, right-footed. Oh, a sweet one. Very, very classy score there from Micheál Ling. All of 45 metres out. And that puts the sides level, and not only that, but level for the very first time. That score coming from the corner forward, come rover if you like, Micheál Ling, after almost 14 minutes of play in the second half. So it's now 5-all. And to coin the old phrase, it's anyone's game. Scores obviously are rare and skimpy, but they are also very, very vital, particularly in a low-scoring game. Here's Ronan Bannon to take the kick out once more. Now for Gowna, who know that game is on. Ronan in no mad rush, placing very careful, 10 steps back, the same amount forward, swings the right boot and leg, all the power of a goalkeeper, but it's Cavan Gaels and Sean Higgins in possession for the Gaels. Free in. A little bit of sparring here now. It'd be a pity now that any of this would creep or develop into it. It's Porrick Smith, I understand, and Brendan Madden trying to do what fellas in the ring are paid for doing. And I still wonder, Paul, why they call a boxing ring a ring. Because simply it's not a ring. Anyway, here's the free, it's high, out to the right, and the ball has gone wide. It's 5 points for everybody, in football terms. Second half, we're almost halfway there. Ronan Bannon will kick out once again for Gowna. I'm not going to start to go through the records of what Gowna have and what Cavan Gaels have, or what Gowna do not have and what Cavan Gaels do not have, but certainly they've quite a healthy record, and particularly in the last 7 or 8 years. Not least Gowna, from they made a major breakthrough, winning the senior title in the year 1988. Meath, in fact, were doing it with the football on the double with Cork. It's 5 points each in this. Ronan Bannon to place on the little square once again for the kick out. 5 points, as I said, for all. So here's Ronan Bannon with the kick out once again for Gowna, down towards this side of the field. A lot of bunching around the centre field area. That in this case pays off for a defender. That was Bernard Sorohan. The latest information we have, contrary to what we said, and in fact what we were told earlier on, and that is that there will be no extra time in the event of a draw. In other words, second day out. Meanwhile, Eamon Riley in the free for Cavan Gaels on the far side. The referee says take it again, and he politely obliges. That's Cathal Collins now. Little exhibition. Eamon Riley taking the pass perfectly, driving the ball forward for the Gaels. Scores, as I said, very, very crucial, very vital. And there's a high one that's out over the end line and wide, so it's still 5 points apiece, and we're over the halfway stage in the second half. Now then, and the referee looking around, is there a change? Do I detect? I think there's a change in the Cavan Gael side. Sean Higgins seems to be replaced all right. Now we'll try and figure this one out. Now, was Levy Murphy, did Levy Murphy start? Certainly there anyway. Just watch now with interest for a moment. Meanwhile, it's Gowna that are working the ball out of defence. This is Kieran Brady. Still Gowna, this is their full back. The referee awarding a free outfield, and this one is about 60 yards out from the goal mouth, down towards the far side, and in anybody's language, that's a blatant foul. Micheál Ling was the victim, and the referee is going to talk to Brendan Madden, and I'm damn sure that they're not going to talk about the weather. It's 5 points apiece, nobody in front. Yet another yellow card, 3, possibly the 4th one of the afternoon, but overall this game is quite sporting. The odd little incident, but nothing really worth a button. So a bit of a scramble scramble down here to the left. The referee may decide. He may very well decide to throw up the ball. It's a bit difficult to see it, but however, it's about 22 or 3 yards out from the goal mouth down here to the left. Now, if it was 5 points to 3 at half time, and that Gowna were leading at that half-time break, that of course means that in this second half so far, that Gowna in fact have failed to score. On the other hand, Cavan Gaels have scored 2 points, one from play from Anthony Ford and the other from Micheál Ling. So the referee is not going to throw anybody up, but rather award the free in to Cavan Gaels and Pádraig Smith. 25 yards out from the goal mouth, down here to the left. In fact, it's not Pádraig, but anyway, it's out over, well, in fact, it's way out to the left, out over the end line, and the ball has gone wide. So, still 5-all. No extra time in the event off. Now, it appears as though Gowna are making a change, and Brendan Madden, of course, who received a yellow card a few moments ago, has been replaced by a fellow called Christie, of the same name. You'll not get much closer than that. Ronan Bannon. It's not a bad exchange, as they say. So here's Ronan to take the kick out now for Gowna. It's quite possible in this sort of game that whoever gets the next score could in fact build on that and go on to win. That is only an opinion. This is Pádraig Smith. High, left-footed and lobbing. Maybe no sooner said than done. That is the next score. That it was Pádraig Smith, and that is also the first time that Cavan Gaels have in fact taken the lead, courtesy of that man, Pádraig Smith. And that score is the third score for the Gaels in the second half. The second half, and I make it, is about 19 minutes old or thereabouts. 1 point between them now. So Gowna certainly feeling the pinch more so in this second half. And that's without Dermot McCabe. Meanwhile, it's Shane McGlade back in the back line. That's Joe Dunn, the right corner back. It's Dr. Cahill Collins, 60 yards out from his own end line. Long one down towards the far side of the field. Gowna pressing forward again. Pádraig Smith might have for a split second hesitated with the advancement of Mark McKeever, who grabbed the ball, pressed forward, and now links up with Niall Madden inside. Niall has been penalised for taking too much out of the ball. It might sound and look a little bit harsh, but really I think Jimmy was on the ball. This is Anthony Ford. 6-5. Cavan Gaels leading. Collins to Ford. Ford the long ball. And the old saying is, what is it, Paul? You can't bait the long ball. 6 points to 5. Cavan Gaels are leading. This is Kieran Brady across into the centre. The full back. The centre back now. Gavin Horton. Anthony Ford about to descend on him. Does well. Breaks it down. Meanwhile, Enda King gets it forward. Referee blows the whistle though, and penalising Cavan Gaels this time. It's a free outfield to Gowna, and indeed I might add to their relief, about 40 yards out from their own end line. They are in arrears by 1 point. That came about after 20 minutes and also for the first time in the game. 6-5. Anything could happen. Here's Mark McKeever now, looking behind him first and then looking forward, which I'm sure is the direction that he would be thinking about. A foul down here to the right on fresh in the game, Christie Madden. In towards the corner now, Kieran Fitzpatrick. A couple of scores already in this fella, at least 3. He's going to try and set something up here, but I'm afraid it's a defender he's going to set up. Let's send to King. Nicholas Walsh transfers out towards this side. Cavan Gaels looking more dangerous in this second half. I don't think, in fairness, that it was as deliberate as it might sound or might have looked. But Micheál Ling did get apparently the alleged knock or blow on the back of the head, and he went down, as they say in old terms, like a light. 6 points to 5, 1 point between them. It seemed to be more the challenge, I would have thought, so much so that I think that the referee, in fact, was of the same opinion, because no action would appear to have been taken. Mickey Ling is up now, and he's okay. Well, that's what they say sometimes. But anyway, he's back up now, and he's ready to go. Good decision again by the referee. High ball. Mighty score there from Anthony Ford, from the free, and from about 47 or 8 metres out. What a score. It's beginning to look like, with the 22 minutes gone in the second half, it's now 7 points to 5. Cavan Gaels. Cavan Gaels, it wouldn't be, or would it, the first, I don't think so, that they would have completed the double. They've done hat-tricks and everything else, and indeed doubles too. Doubles or quits, as Kieran Brady gets it out towards this side of the field. Gowna need a couple of scores now. They could do with a goal, in fact. 2 points down and beginning to go or come against the clock. She's certainly revving up an awful lot more. Back up into the centre, Ford having a big impact. Here's Collins now on the run. If you pardon the punt, jabs it across to the far side, and a 3rd point now for the Gaels would certainly leave a telling mark. But that time, they're going to have to settle for the wide as the ball was sent out over the end line. So it's now 7 points, or still 7 points to 5 rather. Just that 2 points in it. Strange day, strange afternoon. About an hour ago it looked as though this would not finish with daylight, but a little skift of rain, in old-fashioned terms, seems to have cleared the air, and the sun is doing his best to come back out, even at 3:30. So when the play resumes, Ronan Bannon will kick out for Gowna, defending still in that second half, the goalmouth down here on the left, and Cavan Gaels, who looked average enough in the opening half, but continued to improve with time, so much so, find now that with about 5-6 minutes or so left in the game, that they have 2 points to their credit. That, of course, does not mean that they're going to win this game, though I did hint at that. Whoever would get the next score back about 10 minutes ago might very well go on to win. It's beginning to look like that, but you never can tell. It's only an opinion. Mark McKeever went high for that one, brought it down, was pulled down. Referee will award the free to Gowna, and this time it will be some 55 yards out from their own end line, and it looks as though Gowna are about to make another change. More about that in a moment. Mark Yu, short ball, full back. And now it is the full back, Colin Briotti again. Nothing new or unusual for Colin to be playing or hovering out around the centre field area. This is good a piece of catching as we've seen this afternoon inside there by Joe Dunn. Shane McLeod trying to get that one, but it's a line. In fact, it's a free outfield. Anyway, Cavan, it was a line ball, I think. We'll settle for a line. When you can only see the half of it, there's a certain allowance. Isn't that true, Paul? Meanwhile, centre half back, Eamon Riley. Nice touch up along the far side. Nicholas Walsh delivers right into the corner where it's going, and gone. Out over the end line and wide. Not in auctioneering terms. But it's 7 points to 5, 2 points between the sides, and it's Cavan Gaels, after labouring for long periods, find that they're almost in the driving seat. Mark McKeever tries to do something about it. This is Christy Madden now, 35 yards out from the goalmouth. No goal in the game so far, and in this case, no point either. So it's still 7 points to 5 with Cavan Gaels leading. I reckoned couple of minutes or so left now in the second half, as the goalkeeper will place once again for the kick out from the corner of the little square down here to the right at Joe Crowe Park here in Lacken. And credit to both sides. Talking about Lacken, they're certainly not lacking effort when it comes to putting a bit into it, even if it is a cold November day. Here comes the kick. Down to the centre. Breaks. Porrick Smith to Walsh. Walsh to Porrick Smith. A little bit of over elaboration finds that they lose the ball, at least for the moment, but then it spins away out to the far side between two players to Micheál Ling, and now the referee has blown the whistle. A foul inside Porrick Smith on the ground, and the free inside the Gowna half of the field, that is, this time. And it appears that though Micheál Ling will take the kick. Yes, Mickey Ling to take the kick, almost on the halfway line, about 20 yards to the right of the goalmouth on the left. Well, a nice bit of zigzagging in here. A young man called Shani. And the ball over the bar for a point. Now that certainly to an extent rubber stamps the Cavan Gaels situation. "8-5", that's what it is. Down to the centre, 3 points between them, Cavan Gaels leading. Full back Colin Briotti, inside and in there in the centre, Fergal Harton. Referee awarding a free, foul on Fergal, takes it himself, gets it forward to Kieran Brady. They need a goal, are they going to get it? This is Christy Madden, that's Mark McKeever, going forward now, 35 yards out. They're trying their utmost, so too are the defence. Good blocking down by Shane McGlade, but it's back in the safe hands of Gowna. And McKeever feeds it across into the centre, but it's Cathal Collins to gather it up. And away come the Gaels now, 50 yards out from their own end line. That in fact was Carol Crotty that was upended. The referee will award the free. Forward to the town side, out to Porrick Smith on the far side. That's Nicholas Walsh. 8-5, 3 between them, Cavan Gaels leading. They were trailing by 2 at half time. They're now leading by 3 at the psychological moment. Ball out over the sideline on the far side. Tangle down here between two players in the far left hand or right hand corner. Little bit uncalled for. We talked about the other form of sport, but we could now talk about the form of wrestling. A lot of unnecessary jawing. The referee in fact may have blown the final whistle, and that in fact is what he has done. Hello? Yes, it's just over in fact. Yeah, it's just over. That's it, 3 points in it at the end, 8 points to 3. Cavan Gaels, the winners in this league final. They got two. Oh no, they got none. Tommy, James, who got that last point for the Gaels down there? At number 27. Huh? Sean Johnson. Yeah. Now, in a moment, the chairman of the Cavan County Board, Philip Smith, will be presenting the cup to Eamon Riley, the captain of the Cavan Gaels side. Victorious in their win, and Gowna gallant in their defeat. The odd incident, but nothing too serious, nothing that the referee didn't quench. Final score 8 points to 5. Bad second half for Gowna.
Mac. up towards McClary, but Killian Riley wants to have nothing to do with it. Killian Riley is a tigerish little corner back, and Killian Riley will be the last man to touch her.
Rory Clibifigul, agus an Dinusla, Falcher Crowe and Shark G, Lacken, the High on Clickicana, Shark Mortis, Ryan A, Shinshare. Players, supporters from both clubs. I'd like to welcome here today to Lacken to this, the TPS Senior League Division 1 final. I first of all want to congratulate both teams on reaching today's final. Obviously the two teams that were competing here today are the top two teams in the county, and that was proving the fact that they both competed in championship and league finals. I want to congratulate Cavan Gaels today on a great victory, and well done lads. To win the double is a great achievement any year, and at this stage I suppose it becomes common that you're winning them on such a regular basis. But congratulations, and I know all the hard work that goes in by the players to achieving this. To Gowna, I say commiserations lads. To be beaten in two finals, I know it's hard to take, but I suppose this time last year you felt things were going away from you. Today you're proving that you're the second best team in the county, and along with a couple of guys that are missing, I'm sure you'll be back there next year competing for both league and championship honours. To the mentors of both teams, I want to say well done in how you prepared your teams. To Malik Fioruk, I say congratulations, and I want to wish you the very best of luck in your term with Fermanagh, and I'm sure you'll do an excellent job there, have you done with Cavan Gaels. To Michael McCormick and his team, I know Michael's absence today, but I'd have to say lads, you know, to be beaten by 2 points, you know you've done your best and you put up a very good display. To the sponsor TP Smith, I want to say a very thank you to TP Smith for his financial support down through the years. And to the officials on today, to Jimmy Gallagher and his referees and umpires, I want to say thank you very much and congratulations. It gives me great pleasure now to present the TPS Division 1 League Trophy, Division 1 Trophy to the captain of the Cavan Gaels team, Eamon Riley. To say a few words on behalf of the Cavan Gaels team.
Lads, not going to keep you too long in the wet, but I said it before, once more, happy birthday Cavan Gaels! It's a great achievement in our 50th year to win the Senior League and Championship, but it's all the hard work the G put in, the 40 players on the panel, out every night giving it their all, and giving it their all out there today, showing the hunger, diving in on every ball. Well done lads, you deserve it. Enjoy the Christmas. To Malik O'Rourke and Dropsy, they were brilliant all year, brought an extra bit of professionalism to the club. I know they do very well in Fermanagh. Best of luck lads. To Mark Illick, Johnny Farley, George Riley, all the lads that helped out up in Terry Coyle, all the tea ladies, thanks very much. It's been a great year. It's one for us all. The trophies are for all of us. Lastly, hard luck to Gowna. Good hard fought game, as normal. 3 cheers for Gowna. Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray! Hip hip. Hooray!
Thanks Eamon. I just asked Mark McKee, the captain of the Gowna team, to say a few words.
Well, as Eamon said, I'm not going to hang about here, it's cold and it's wet, but I just want to thank our management team, Mick McCormick, Seamus McCabe, Sean McGowan, Jerry Cadden and Lawrence Brady for all they've done all year, and to all the players who was out in Gowna. We're a small parish and we managed to get together about 30 every night, so fair play to them boys. All the junior players all kept coming out, helping us along, and it's brought us on with 2 finals after a couple of bad years, back in the 2 finals, and hopefully can build on that next year. And congratulations to Cavan Gaels again.
Thanks Mark. The next show today is the presentation of the Man of the Match Award. I'm delighted that the Man of the Match today is Anthony Ford from Cavan Gaels. before I conclude, I just want to lastly thank the Lacken Club, the host club on the day, for staging today's game. I'd like everybody to put your hands together for a round of applause for Lacken. Finally, just to wish both clubs all the very best in 2008. Gormina Mahago.
Smile, lads, smile. Hello.
Hello? Hello, yes, Jim. I mean, if I was in Breffy Park, Lacken, yeah, just walking across the field, yeah, Gaels won by 2 points. Just finished 2 minutes, just walking back to the camera. They were bet last night now. They were betting Division 3 last night. Yeah. There was a good bit of swinging and thumping, and Gaels got a fella put off, and you know, it was he blew it off short because it said it was going to be another melee afterwards. You know, was died down. I don't really know now. Gowna didn't have Pearson, or they didn't have McKay playing. You know. They were every bit as good as them, Jim, up the last 5 minutes nearly, you know. They were ahead most of the time in the first half, you know. Okay. No, I went out to them last night and they weren't there, and I looked for them this morning, they were in bed, so I didn't get them to do it, but I'll get him to do it on Monday maybe. There's not on next Monday night. Ah, well, that's not a problem. Yeah. Well, it's just, there's nothing to. How did the thing go last night? All right. Yeah. But did they do any? Did they get up or anything much? No, really. No. So that's all that's there now, isn't it? Yeah. As long as we keep it that way, Jim, we'll be all right. Ah, yeah, no, well, you can't say anything about that, you know. No, but there'll be other people, like Martin rang me there on Wednesday or Thursday, and I said, well, there's a game Friday night saying we don't want to overdo it, I said, you know. So I didn't tell him no, or I told him he couldn't have it this week, but I said, I didn't say no to him for again, but, you know, hope he doesn't. Oh, shut it down completely, Jim. It's less hassle and far better. Yeah. No problem, Jim. Talk to you later. Bye. Bye.